And so it's just a fascinating world, like coaching to me.
Not a dick to be around, which is probably a big plus point for coaches. I enjoy a team. I get on with nearly everyone in the team.
I finished playing and I didn't want to see a rugby game for a while.
It is a primal game, and when you're coaching it, I reckon too, you've got to coach that. If I love something and I've got the bug for it, I just want to challenge myself to be as good as I can be. You've got to flip whatever mindset when you're in it to go get excited by the start again, to get excited by that. Whereas you can get down about it and go, oh man. But the moment you go, hey, I'm going to start again and I'm going to build myself up in this area and get excited by that, then that's when you're away.
So, bro, I appreciate you jumping on the podcast. I was about to mention it before. Really, the heart behind this is, to share a few stories about those who have gone before us and done the transition from sport into that next chapter of life and done it well. So, appreciate you jumping on. Mate, how long did you play professional rugby for?
I played from 2001 to 2009 and then got knocked out too many times in England.
Yeah.
And, retired in England. I probably could have retired a couple of years earlier. My knee was absolutely toast. I had to retire from New Zealand early because I went in to get my fourth sort of knee clean up and they were just like, it's arthritis, not anything we can clean up. So we advise you don't play anymore. Yeah. And a physio of mine at the time of the Hurricanes just said, mate, if you still want to keep playing, you should probably go to England where it rains half the year and you don't do any running. Because I just couldn't run. I couldn't run on those days. It was like cricket wicket stuff in the summer, pre-season was just ending me because I couldn't run. And mate, that was my game, being able to be the fittest in the team. And I just was battling to run.
The old desert, hey.
The cricket wicket where it makes a sound when you run on it with sprigs.
Wild. So did you have a nickname on the field back in your days or as a coach? Or they call you Ben?
As a player?
Yeah.
Yeah, they called my nickname was Jarman. Jarman, yeah. That's what's it's just followed me everywhere.
Are you a reggae fan?
It started really innocently in like third form when a buddy of mine was we were walking to rugby training and he was like, mate, are you a Ben or a Jarman? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, are you a Ben or a Benjamin?
Oh, Jarman.
Are you a Jarman?
I got it.
And that's where it started from. And man, it just followed me everywhere. Like my university, there was always someone from school, and then people don't actually know that was why it was called that. And so they think it's because I was some massive pisshead or something, but that wasn't the case.
I was thinking reggae, bro, like Jumpman.
Yeah, it could have been reggae, yeah. That's better. That'd be cooler. Cool, that'd be heaps cooler, for sure.
So you mentioned you had to retire a bit sooner than you wanted to. Can you remember your last game? And did you know it was your last game at the time? Was it like,
nah,
this is it?
Oh, I can tell you. I had 3 concussions, got knocked out, had 3 weeks off, came back, got knocked out that game, had about 2 months off, and then came back for the third time and knocked out first game back. So, mate, the last one was pretty horrific in terms of that week my first daughter was born. Yeah. And my parents had flown over to the UK from New Zealand, and they see their son get carried off the field, spewed on the sideline. I remember going into the medical room and I was just crying because I couldn't control myself. And I just, in that moment, in that little white medical room, I just went, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's brutal.
This is crazy. Because I couldn't control the crying. I wasn't sore. Yeah. It was just my body was so messed up that it was doing whatever it wanted. And I was like, far out. Yeah. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Mate, so I didn't know. So that was it. That was with about 4 months in season to go.
Yeah. At the Leicester Tigers, eh? I've been to the Leicester Tigers ground.
It's a good sport.
Yeah.
It's Welford Road. It's an absolute beauty.
Man, the fans over there, it makes me jealous. Like, just the fandom, the following behind rugby.
Yeah, it is a lot different, man. They're just passionate, and it's just everything's done live. People don't really watch it as much on TV. They go to the games, and the season ticket holders all go there. It's still standing. You walk through the standing area. And everyone's touching you. It's like a narrow channelway, and everyone's. So it's an amazing welcome. And hookers, when they're throwing the ball on one side, can pretty much be touched by the crowd.
Yeah, so
It's
close.
just intimate, eh? It's
Oh,
good.
that's so cool. Yeah, I was
Such
lucky
a good
enough to
place.
go to an Arsenal game actually at the Emirates Stadium. I went along with my
Oh
brother,
yeah.
and we sat down, and then about 2 minutes in, we're like, hang on, I don't think anyone sits down, bro. No one in the whole stadium sat down for 90 minutes, you know? They just sing
Yeah.
songs and bang chairs, and it's just like, wow, this is a different level of fandom, eh? So that's so
Yeah,
cool.
man. It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
No,
went straight into assistant coaching, eh? And was it like literally the same season, or how did it line up for you going from being concussed on the
um,
sideline? Oh my gosh, I think my career's probably done with the boots on. Like, did you know you wanted to go and coach right away, or?
nah, man. So it did, to be fair, it took me probably 6 months before I was right from that
Okay,
last
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
So there was a lot of, it's pretty dark times. But then, like towards the end of it, the coach, Richard Cockrell, just came up and said to me, mate, I'd love you to stay on as a coach next year. I think you'll be pretty
Wow,
good. And I'd given it zero thought, man. Like, I
wow,
never thought I'd be a coach. And
yeah,
I was just like, I actually think I said to him, I don't know, mate. And he's like, just give it some thought. And then,
yeah,
because, mate, I just wanted to travel. Like, I was
yeah, yeah.
dead set going to America in a combi van with the little girl and the big
Cool.
girl. And that was my dream. And
Yeah.
so, like, after about a month of stewing on it, like, my wife just said, man, he obviously thinks you might be quite good at it. Why don't you just give it a crack for a season? We've got good friends here. We do have a little one. Maybe we just do that.
Wow.
And literally just gave it a crack and loved it, man. Just as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, whoa, yeah, this is cool.
That is
Love
so
this side
cool.
of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
just went boots in, just
yeah,
took it like a craft, like just felt like I was on the journey of learning to play again. It was cool.
yeah, yeah. So it
Yeah,
clicked there. You see some
correct.
coaches,
Yeah,
like I'm a big NFL fan, eh? And
yeah,
yeah, I just love like the docos and the stories behind it, and they have a lot of footage like inside the locker rooms now and stuff, the coach speeches and things. So it's
yeah,
just a fascinating world, like coaching to me. Um,
yeah.
I personally, I finished playing and I didn't want to see a rugby game for a while. You know, I didn't want to watch. I was like, people said to me straight away, "Hey man, do you want to come down to the local club and coach?" And I was like, "Yeah, nah." To be honest, so man,
That's pretty common too, right? Like that's
yeah,
a common phenomenon where once you're done, you can't be huffing. A lot of people
yeah,
find that they
yeah,
have to be all out, and then they come back to it a bit later
yeah,
on.
yeah. That's interesting. Here's a question for you, man. Don't be
Tell me.
humble. What is it about you as a player that Richard Cockrell goes, hang on, I want to keep this guy on as a coach? Were you like a bit of a loudmouth? Were you, or were you just like at that stage in your career where you were starting to give back to the younger players? Do you think?
uh, no, if I'm not being humble, it's probably I've always been a pretty good guy in teams in terms of I enjoy a team. I get on with pretty much nearly everyone in the team. I would
Yeah,
say
yeah,
I'm sort of that I've always sort of been that player that can float between groups pretty easy. Like
yeah,
most
yeah.
teams have a pretty easy, a big mix of people culturally,
That's true.
socially, economically. I think probably my upbringing has been pretty good on that. I don't have a problem
Yeah,
floating between all groups. So
yeah, yeah.
um, I feel like I can connect pretty well with everybody in the team, and
Mm,
probably can connect up as well as
mm,
right down to the smallest guy on the team to the biggest CEO in the operation. I can sort of float across barriers pretty good,
yeah,
relatively articulate, and get my point across pretty good. Pretty simple dude, so I generally try to keep things simple as I can.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not a dick to be around, which is probably a big plus point for coaches. I know at the professional level, when you're appointing your assistant coaches, you just want people you think are good men, first
Mm,
and foremost. Um, I think that's quite important because you've got to work
mm,
and do a lot and be quite sort of connected to your fellow coaches. So you want
mm.
someone you can get on with. And,
You took
and
a
as
lot of
much
lives
as
together, eh?
yeah, man, and as much as you kind of say, oh, that's just a personality thing, I think it's a skill trainable, which you just
Mm,
don't think about, like the ability to compromise, to see the other person's point of view, all that kind of stuff. Those sort of softer skills, I think I've always had pretty good ones of those, and
yeah,
enjoy that stuff, and enjoy challenging myself and refining that side of myself.
yeah,
And I think yeah, it's certainly pretty good, really, I reckon, as a coach, because all those things are pretty important.
Would you say that's like your superpower as a coach? More the connecting rather than the skill set, X's and O's, that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd say so. I reckon there's a couple of niche areas where I think I'm really good, like around some of the Jekyling stuff and the breakdown stuff.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I like to think I get the best out of the guys I'm coaching. I can connect with them in such a way that they're pumped up to do, particularly some of that contact stuff. I reckon I can get boys in a pretty good place to do some pretty dark stuff, which is
I love that.
which I pride myself on.
I
For
talk
sure.
to I talk to non-rugby people, but like about getting ready for the contact and where you'd go in your brain, and it's hard to kind of
Yeah, man.
describe, but you definitely go to
Oh,
it's a brutal space in your mind, that you go to, especially at that high level. Like it's kill or be
yeah.
killed,
It's a switch. If you don't have, you probably won't make it. You've got to be able to go to a place. You've got to transform into alter ego, essentially. And when
Yeah.
you take that field, you're not your normal self, and you acknowledge that, and you go, "Cool, I'm going to be this person where I'm just doing this." So, like, I used to like. I just remember my dad used to say, "Why do you?" He's not a rugby guy. He'd say, "Why do you do it, man? Like, why do you thump your head into someone else's head, trying to hurt them? Like that's not you." And I go, "Yeah, I know, but it's me when I'm out there. Like it's just I don't care." And the funny little things, whereas like back in the days when there was rucking, it was things like you'd be proud of how many ruck marks you had across your body, because it meant you were doing stuff that no one else was prepared to do. If you had the most ruck marks,
Yeah.
that was like saddest, super saddest. If your jersey got ripped off, you'd be like, "Yeah, man, I've put myself where no one else will put themselves. Like I got
Especially
the
as a
most ruck
seven,
marks."
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was,
Yeah.
and that's a weird statement. Like I got stood on the most. Yeah, like that's a weird thing in life, right? Like people that don't know rugby go, "Mate, why are you proud about your bruises? Like it's bad for you. It's stupid.
100%.
Why you got a massive black eye and some stitches? Like that's not cool." But you
Yeah.
go, "I disagree. It kind of is cool. It's
Yeah.
kind of why I'm doing it." Like it's what they wonder if you care too much about. You knew like my nose is going to be bit. You know, in the start. I'm not gonna be sleeping well at 40.
It's pretty
with this
straight,
nose.
bro. To be fair, it's pretty straight. Like you can tell it's had some damage. At least
Well,
it's
mate,
not
it's
one
fun.
of those ones, you know.
Yeah, it's right. It's funny because like there's no point getting it tested. Like it's probably been broken a dozen times, but never get tested because what's the point? Because it's broken.
Yeah.
I'll still play this weekend because
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. It's not for everybody, but for those people it resonates with, it's a wonderful game like that you can. I think that's the joy, man. Like you can take yourself to a place which you will never be in any other aspect of life, unless you're a gangster.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to be.
You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to do this stuff.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be as ruthless and aggressive. And even in this modern day and age, it's even less so. Like, where can you be this aggressive and be allowed and encouraged? And it's so like, and I think it's important for certain mindsets and certain kids particularly. It's something that it's needed. Like, I certainly, you wouldn't have picked it with me, but I needed it. I needed an area where I could go and just be this other version of myself, one that was deeper and more primal, and just let myself go. And it's I think for a lot of kids, that's part of them. And I think it's a very human thing for a lot of boys.
huge, yeah.
Not all boys, but a lot of boys and a lot of girls too, I reckon.
Yeah. Hey, that's the word I was looking for. Primal. It is very primal there.
It is a primal game.
Takes you
And
back.
when you're coaching it, I reckon too, you've got to coach that primalness. Like, you got to coach those things, which is something you don't often think about. But how do you draw out someone's primal instinct
Yeah.
to just put their body on the line, to get into a dark space and love it, to try to
Yeah.
hurt someone in the interest of your team's benefit?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
easy.
these are cool things which don't always associate with. If you put them into like a street and you did them, they'd be considered poor etiquette or poor ethics or poor manners and all this poor stuff. But inside those white walls on a 100-meter slab of grass, it's all good.
It's all legal. Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. There's always exceptions for sure.
I know. Oh, that's cool, man. So let's say like early on in your rugby career, you kind of figure out, I'm quite good at this connection piece. What motivated you back then? Like, if you can remember back, what was your motivation then, and has it changed in the years of coaching that you've done?
Yeah, it definitely has changed. But I think the motivation, certainly for me, is always an internal driver. I just want to be, if I love something and I've got the bug for it, I just want to challenge myself to be as good as I can be. It doesn't matter how good I get to, but just as long as I'm satisfied that when I go out, I'm happy with that. So I had that as a player. Like, obviously everyone wants to be an All Black, but I never did, but super satisfied. Like I look back and I go, I wouldn't have done anything different. I couldn't have been any better than I was with what I knew at the time. If I had to go back now, certainly I'd be like, oh yeah, I probably wouldn't have tried to put on weight that way, or I would have done that pre-season different, all that stuff. But with what I knew, man, I satisfied. And I think that's the bug. You never want to look back and regret it. And then same with once you roll into coaching and you kind of go, right, I love this. I want to go good. I just want to see how good I can be and what's it going to take. And obviously when you're coaching, you're probably a little bit old and you've probably got family and kids like yourself. And so there's a little bit of compromise in there, but how can I do it to the best of my ability and my circumstances right now? How am I going to throw myself into it and then just enjoy it? Yeah. And so that's essentially, I had a beautiful wife who sort of said, for the next 10 years, I don't care where we have kids. Wherever we are together as a family, that's home. So had that privilege where I could actually say yes to cool opportunities and chase what I wanted to do. Like, got an offer to go to Japan. Do I take it? Hell yeah. Got an offer to go to Canada. Do I take it? Yep. And I was able to do that, which isn't everybody's reality. I think we love to travel, so it was a good excuse. And how it changes over time, certainly what I coach is different. It used to be all about like the nitty-gritty X's and O's, the drills, the skills, the techniques of, say, the breakdown, the contact. And I used to love that. And then I sort of got not bored, but I was like, I want to challenge myself differently. So it became about, the defense, and then came about head coaching and how to be good at that. And then it came about like now these days it's a bit more like it's mentoring. Right? Like the on-field grass stuff isn't as appealing as it used to be. Like I'd rather, in a lot of ways, just work with a coach and help them be their best version of themselves. Just tail them around for a session and then give them a feedback session. Like, I love that stuff now. That's so it's like the life cycle of a coach. You start with the real niche stuff and you sort of get bigger and broader and work out. You have more impact on as you get going with experience. Like I feel now like if I help a coach that's coaching others, I'm helping those others as well, because he's going to be a better coach for my help. So I guess that's the joy. If I help that one person, that person affects 30 people. Yeah. Downwards and downwards. And so I think you sort of open up, and like yourself, mate, I'm sort of jumping into the podcast space, and that goes really well, mate. And that's a craft as well now, which I'm loving. And it's just the same, like wider reach, and trying to pass on any sort of skill sets I've got to anyone that cares to listen, man.
That's cool, eh? Really cool. I realized I was going to ask you something like, what would you say, like if you were looking at a bunch of players, let's say they're near the end of their careers, what would earmark a good coach to you? Like if you're looking, let's say you were a coach selector.
Yeah, mate. I honestly think it's their people skills. Yeah. I think anybody you can, as long as they got that way with people, that they're just good talkers. They connect well with people. That's the first one. Like, because coaching is actually a people business. Yeah. That's a really cool phrase. Like, we're in the people business here. Yeah, we're coaching people. You can learn the X's and O's, and you can learn a drill and skill. There's a gazillion on YouTube. But if you've got the inherent sort of, you get on with people, you can connect with people, then you're going to be good in a team environment. Yeah. You're going to be able to get across to people. So I would look for people, as a player, you'd look for those people in teams that just have that little bit of thing where they can have a laugh with everybody in the team. That they and it doesn't matter if they're serious or jokey or anything like that. If you see them floating around different groups, talking to different people, just enjoying the game and the bigger picture of why they're there, then that's the sort of person you go, cool, I can work with this person, and you can sort of guide them on drills. And if you've got someone who can speak well, connect well, it doesn't really matter what the drill is. They can deliver it in a way which it's all the same, mate. Like rugby's the same the world over. It's the same stuff.
Yeah.
So you find the good people to deliver the same stuff, and it's so much better rather than an average person delivering a drill really well. I think I'd definitely go the person.
It's funny, I look back. I played for 9 years professionally, and I suppose you could call it that, professionally, most of the time.
Absolutely.
And in that 9 years, won one championship with the NPC championship with North Harbour in 2016. And
Yes.
I think back to our coach at the time, Steve Jackson, mate. Definitely.
Yeah, I know. I played with Jacko actually.
You play with Jacko. Where'd you play with Jacko?
We played down in Southland together. He was captain of the Stags. It must have been 2000 and maybe 1
Yeah. Oh, he's a
or
legend.
2. He's a legend. Good dude.
Yeah.
Very good man.
Oh, man. I played for the Stags, But
One
season, mate. 2020. Yeah. And, mate, one of my most enjoyable squads, I just have to say that. Like, I think we won 4 or 5 games that year, but we were like, the whole town came and watched us play, and you felt like you were famous around in Chicago.
Mate, it's a wonderful place. It's a special place, special team. And if you're playing for the rugby team there, it's just fun, eh? It's great bunch of people. Yeah. Man, I couldn't speak more highly of my time there either. It's cool.
So, mate, I'm really just, like, drilling on your point, like, the people skills. Jacko, I hope it's okay to say this. He, I wouldn't say he's, like, the most... Hold on. I'll just ask my wife to stop texting, Okay. Cool. So, yes. So, just on Jacko, 2016, I hope it's okay to say this. He wasn't the most technical coach, but, man, he just got us all to a place... So I'll give you an example. I was struggling with my tackling. I was always a big hitting flanker, or tried to be. And I'd always miss a couple, here and there, just get them totally wrong. Footwork, the angle I chose, things like that. And I would like practice before and after training. I'd really work on my defense. And I remember Jacko just saying to me one time, Presto, go and fucking get him. And just, that was it. Like, it was just like, stop overthinking it. Just go and fucking get him. And that's it. I don't care. Like, and like for me, it was almost like the shackles came off. And I just stopped hesitating and just, started smashing dudes, which was awesome. And I put it back to like, just, that was the perfect thing that I needed to hear. It wasn't a drill. I'd done all the drills. It wasn't a technical thing. I studied it as best I could, but just having the confidence to get it wrong. Oh, that's the other thing he said. He said, mate, if you're going to miss, I want you to miss big. But don't, miss little. Miss big.
Yeah, miss big.
And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Anyway, we won it that year, bro. And it was just a team humming, And, again, I wouldn't say we had the best X's and O's or strategy out there, but you get to that high level way, and it's more about how everyone's gelling together, the chemistry on the field,
And it's a beautiful thing about coaching. Like, that's great. Like that's lovely, right? And he read you well. He knew your triggers, and he might say something a little bit differently to someone else, right? Who actually might need something else, but he just picked up you, knew you, and that's sort of a bit of connection and that sort of the human skills that Jacko's very good at. It just goes bang, one word, a sentence, and he's got you hooked and you're in, and you're like, yeah. But just on that technical point, I often think about it like rugby is a sort of quite a unique game. It's essentially like World War I running across the trenches, right? Like no man's land. You're running across that as a group. Now, there's a lot of strategy you could have, like you run here, then here, then here, then here. But ultimately, you're getting shot at by machine guns, so you just got to run as hard as you can sometimes and just go. And you got to remember that in the game of rugby, that whilst you can have the best strategy in the world, once you come under fire, which rugby is fire, sometimes you just got to go on instinct, man. You just got to go for it in general. And I think that's where great people coaches understand that balance where, there's a bit of tactics involved in running across no man's land. Yeah, sure. You got to make sure you hide sometimes. But the other big part is you got to go hard out here. and
Yeah.
you've got to get the people that maybe don't want to run hard to run hard, because it's not good if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that's kind of it's kind of like a coaching analogy. Is like you're coaching something very different in the sport. It's not like a sport like shooting or golf, where you can actually critique those little techniques and details because you've got time and there's less chaos around you. Sometimes you've just got to, when you're in chaos, to be able to, go for it with instinct, and you got to build that instinct as a coach.
Man,
And sometimes a word like what he said is spot on.
Yeah, you're getting me going, mate. Just thinking about it. Miss it. I miss it.
You make a comeback now.
Oh, no way. Hey, I was gonna ask you, have you just like with your family? You mentioned it a little bit before. Like you've just bounced around the planet, basically the globe. Have you just had kids around the planet and just hop along? You guys got to hop along for the ride, and we just make it work. Like, how did that actually look when you went to Canada, for example? When you went to Japan, how did you guys actually manage it as a family?
Yeah, so the kids are born, England, Canada, Japan, New Zealand,
Wow.
just all over. We just make it work. We're pretty independent. My wife and I are we're pretty self-sufficient in a lot of ways, like just making it work. And once you sort of get used to it, it's never been a daunting thing for us to go and be without our families. Both our families sort of pushed us out the door pretty early in life, so we're in a good way. Like so, we enjoy that. We always took it like this: that the experience that it'll give the kid will be tough in the short term, but in the long term, what it'll give them is some amazing things. And what we speculated they'd be good at, which is proven true, is their resilience to change is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They can move now. Like we've just moved to Australia, and it takes us like a month, or not even a couple of days. None of the kids are scared to go to school. They just rock into school like happy as. Like
Amazing.
This is what life is, isn't it?
Yeah, meeting
No
new
problems.
people, new friends.
They're social.
Yeah.
New friends, easy. They're used to meeting people. They're used to introducing themselves. They're used to like starting again. So they're not. It's normal for them.
That's amazing.
And they're not worried about getting on a plane going to another country.
Wow.
Or moving or packing up the house. It's just like, righto, okay, let's roll. And for me, at the time, sometimes it's a little bit sad. They've got to leave their friends and stuff, which they've made, and they make pretty quick. But, man, they are some resilient, independent, worldly kids now, and I'm actually really proud of that. And you go through little periods where like we chucked our kids all into Japanese public school when we were there. And so they were, the middle two were like 10 and 9. When we did that. And so it's a pretty tough age. And they couldn't speak for a month, 6 months, they couldn't speak a word. And so I'd come home from rugby and be like, how was your day? And they're like, oh, it's pretty good. Did you talk much today? Nah.
Yeah, brewed away.
Those kind of conversations. But then in a year, they're fluent in reading and writing Japanese. And you're like, mate, how good a skill set's that? And so the little things, we always took it like, this will be doing more growing them as people than not doing it. That's the approach we took.
Man, it's huge. I mean, just the ability to adapt, and then walk into like a new school and make friends. So many kids, that's really tough for a lot of kids. So that alone, you can see the benefits.
Yeah, the other thing which I think is also kind of cool is like they haven't fallen into anyone's system. Like when you're in, like I grew up, like you think, you've got to go through school, you've got to finish 6th and 7th form, you've got to get your score and the exam to get into uni. Our kids are a little bit oblivious to that. Like, do we? Why?
Yeah.
It's a good point. I don't know why.
Well, the world's
keep trying.
like, I moved overseas when I was 22, which I was like probably the first. Well, I moved over when I was 22, and it was scary for me at 22, And I went to Italy, and I was like, surely there's like a few guys that speak English. It's like, nah, man. They're just like, nah, man, welcome to Italy. Like, we speak Italian. There was
you just ended up drinking shitloads of coffee, right?
Yeah.
Just espresso after espresso.
Yeah, and it's like so incredibly humbling at 22. Like, oh man, I can't talk. So I just had to knuckle down and listen, and eventually I got there after about 6 months, like being able to contribute. Let's call it that, to the conversation. But yeah.
Well, I think the other thing which you just reminded me there is like what it does for kids is as traveling does in general, it develops real empathy for people. You see other cultures, other ways of doing things, other ways people live for better and worse. And it just builds into your sort of mental bank. And then you
Yeah.
take that forward in life, and like your empathy with people in all different situations grows. Like you realize, geez, people are so different.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
my kids know they're pretty empathetic because they were that kid, that foreign kid that like
Yeah.
couldn't speak the language. So now my boy did something the other day where there was a new Chinese kid at school here, and someone like gave him a bit of shit, and he went, "Whoa, mate, easy on that, mate. How would you feel if you're in a
100%.
Chinese school, right?" And they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
right." But he just said it, and I was like, "Oh man, that's special." Like, because he'd been through it, he knew it, he'd felt it firsthand, so he knew what that kid was going through,
Yeah.
and that's pretty special, I reckon. That's a good human trait, which is which he probably wouldn't have got otherwise.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Eh? I think a lot of parents might go, "Oh, that would be really hard on the kids." But what you're telling me, and like I know parents that are like, "I want my kids to go to the same kindy, same primary school, and then the intermediate down the road,
Yeah.
so they can stay with their friends," you know.
That's right.
And but you're telling me all these like amazing experiences your kids have had bouncing around the globe, and I think it probably has really opened their horizons to what they can achieve.
Well, you're right. Like, what it does. So instead of making friends, they've like having friends. They've learned the ability to be able to make friends.
Mm.
So they can go anywhere and make friends really easy because they've been through it multiple times. Where if you're
Yeah.
stuck in one place,
Yeah.
you've just got your friends. You aren't actually good at making friends. You've
Yeah.
just got those friends. So
100%.
it's like teaching someone to fish rather than giving them a fish.
Yeah, it's a skill set.
That's a skill set. It's the experience we like to think we've given our kids. And for little periods, mate, it's hard because they go through some rough times. But it's that whole concept of that little bit of struggles is good for you because you come out the other side of it
Yeah.
probably a better version of yourself in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Getting back to the coaching, I think I guess a lot of players would think, "Oh, cool, I might go into coaching when I'm done." You know, I used to joke around like when I was playing, like, "Oh yeah, I'll play till I'm 40, and then I'll be a defense coach somewhere," you know. But like, what do you see? And I'm sure you've been in the game long enough to see this from time to time. Trip ex-players up when they're making that transition into a coaching role. It's a tough
Probably
question.
the first. No, it's a good question because when you're a player, and I was this, I think every player is. You see the game through yourself. So you're working for you. So you think, oh, this drill's shit, or this is a great drill, but that's just you. Then when you become a coach, all of a sudden you've got nothing to do with it. Like the drills for these 20 people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll come in and go, here's this drill, do this one. And then 15 players go, oh, this sucks. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? This is awesome. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, it's shit. We
Yeah.
don't do this. And you're like, what? And coaches that don't make it stay defensive. They keep their ego and they fight. They have those fights where they become that coach and the pressure. Because it's pressure, man. When 15 blokes say this drill's shit, you've spent a lot of time like working on it, and then
Yeah.
they just say, "Oh, this is crap, coach. Why are we doing this?" And you get
Yeah.
defensive, and
Yeah.
it plays on your ego, and that's where most coaches blow out. The stress comes; they can't handle that, and rightly so. It's not nice,
Yeah.
and it really tests how much you want it. And if you want it, you have to go, can I change? Can I tweak myself? Can I understand that I've got to take my own ego out of this and do something for others?
Whoa.
And that's the biggest transition, I reckon,
Yeah.
that you've got to do as a coach. And I think all coaches go through that period where, because you're not used to it, right? You don't have to stand up as a player and present an idea or a drill or a session to anyone else. And when you do that, you're under the microscope and you can feel it. You can feel all these eyes, right? And you go, oh, shit. And then when you don't quite nail it and everyone's like, this sucks, man, it's a bit deflating and it hurts. And you have those moments where you're like, geez, does this get better?
Yeah, man.
Man, but and when you push through it, it's like the old thing about give me the strength to, Lord, give me the strength to get stronger. And you just go through it, and all of a sudden you start understanding the little cues, and if you say that way, and have this impact. You learn all those little intricacies of the art of coaching, and then it starts softening. But the stresses are always there. You just get better at hiding them away or all that sort of stuff. So that's probably the big one. I think another one that blow players away is actually the work, particularly in pro level, that the coaches do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Players, you just turn up. You have your own little focus points, but you essentially just turn up, do the training and whatever little extras you wanted to do.
Yeah.
The coaches have probably been there 3 or 4 hours before and probably worked on it last night and had a coaching meeting the night before. And then they review the training, or the good ones do anyway, and the games, and you watch a lot of tape and you know a lot of things. And you get blown away by that side of things. And you're like, geez, the amount of times I've heard players say, geez, I didn't realize how much coaches did until I became a coach. And you don't, like, you really don't. Like, it's a full-time job at pro level. Like, you're there 60 hours a week. And in fact, the biggest challenge for coaches is to close the laptop and go home. Most coaches in pro level get a little bit addicted to the wanting everything to be right for the team.
The bug.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
the bug.
Yeah.
Mate, it doesn't...
The bug, mate, it is a bug.
Yeah, it does look like a absolute pressure cooker of a role. Like when they show the camera of, the coach's box from time to time. Mate, have you ever been, this is a personal question, have you ever been fired from a coaching role? Like, how cutthroat and how much pressure? Like, give us an insight into that world.
Yeah, I haven't. Officially, I haven't. But I have sort of seen, not the writing on the wall, but I was like, geez, if I stay here any longer, I might be, things might not end well for me. But technically, no. And I like to think I haven't because I'm pretty good with my people relationships. And you really get fired if you're an extreme coach and if you're like super one end, like super aggressive, super authoritarian. You live on a knife edge, and same if you're super loose down the other end. You live on a knife edge where if the team goes well, you're probably fine. But if they do terrible, you're probably gone.
Yeah.
Whereas if you sort of sit in that a little bit more in that middle space where you can go to either extreme when you need to, you're generally going to be all right unless you've got some pretty ferocious CEOs and things. So that's probably my biggest learning as a professional coach is just your ability to manage upwards, manage the shareholders, the boards, the chairmans. If you get that right, and I haven't always got it early on, I didn't get it right. Like I just didn't see the value. But they're the people that hire and fire you, right? So you've got to sell them the dream, sell them the narrative of what you're doing, and be able to explain in advance everything you foresee happening. Like, we may struggle this year because of these reasons, and we need to take 2 or 3 years to get to this point, and this is how we'll do it.
Bit of forecasting, Bit of forecasting.
Forecasting, man, and being able, the best coaches in the world, some of the world's best, are the best narrators of, well, they sell the narrative of what they want everyone to be thinking about the team and why.
Let's say AI took your job tomorrow. I don't know, in a alternate universe, AI robots took your job tomorrow as a coach. What do you think with the skill set and the the experience that you've picked up over those decades? Like, would you first think, cool, I'm going to pivot into this?
You mean, like, what do you mean, like, what would the AI robots pivot into, or what?
No.
Oh, you mean new job?
Yeah, let's say AI took your coaching role tomorrow, and then what would be your first thought? Okay, I can't coach anymore, but with the skill set I have, I'm going to pivot into.
Oh, mate, I would love, and I'm already started it, mate. I love getting out and speaking to groups, like and be like on a circuit speaker. I love that side of things, like getting up on in front of a group, telling stories about how you can grow as a person, and whether that be relationship-wise, whether that be leadership-wise. Man, I love that stuff. I do a little bit of it now, and I'm like, that's going to be me. Yeah. I'd do that if I had the ability to do that 100% professionally. I'd definitely be looking into it.
Yeah.
If AI came and took everything away, man, that'd be me. Get me up on stage.
That's cool, man. Yeah. That's cool. So that brings me to the podcast, coaching culture. Bro, mate, you've written a book. Like, is it a New York Times bestseller?
It's not a New York Times bestseller.
Oh,
I
no?
like it, but no, mate, it's sold really well. We've actually got a couple of books out, mate. I like writing. Like I've
Cool.
written, well, three coaching books now. There's another one coming out by the end of the month,
Wow.
and 4 kids books, a novel, and an art history book. Man, I just enjoy writing.
When did you
Always
start
have, so-
writing? Yeah. Like when did that come about?
When my daughter was, always enjoyed it on the side, but there's these things called the New York short story competitions, and I used to, like, 2 or 3 times a year I'd enter these competitions, and just like they were these, like, you'd get the story requirements like 24 hours before, and then you have 24 hours to write whatever it was, 3,000, 4,000 words, and then you got judged and ranked. So I always did that, man. And then when my daughter was born, my first one 16 years ago, just wrote her a book, and then I was like, I'm going to do that for all the kids. And then
Cool.
I thought I'd write a novel for my wife, and mate, then I went down this coaching buzz, and I just started by documenting it the first time what I was doing, and then I showed it to a couple of mates, and they're like, "Man, this is good, man. You should actually put some time into this."
Wow.
And so we did that, and then a mate came and helped me with the second one, and this podcast has been the inspiration for the third and the fourth, and I'll just, mate, because the podcast I'm interviewing some great guests, so I wrote my notes afterwards, so I just write down in the show, and then I write afterwards, and then when I show that to people, they're like, "Man, this is gold stuff." So I've just put that into books.
Yeah. Lessons from the great rugby coaches around the world.
Yeah, man.
How to be
Yeah,
a
man.
great
And
rugby coach. Oh, that's
Like,
cool.
honestly, mate, I've got notebooks from each guest.
Yeah.
It's been joyous.
Yeah. And then practically when you like go, cool, I want to write a book, like take me back to the very first one when you're like, not the children's book, but when you
The novel.
yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're like, I'm gonna make
yeah.
this happen and I'm gonna get this published. Like how did you go about that? Was it like a quick
Oh,
Google or?
I just had my own way of doing it. So we were actually in a motorhome. We had
Wow.
3 kids, and we were traveling around the States for 3 months.
Yeah.
We were hopefully going for longer, and I just said, I'm going to write a book by the end of this tour. And so I wrote 36 chapters, ideas. Like I wrote, this is the title, and then I wrote 36 chapters, like this is what it's going to be, and I had a loose idea of each one.
Wow.
And then every night I'd say, I'm going to sit in bed with because the littlest was so young that, like your age, 10 months. I'll put her on my chest to fall asleep, and then I wouldn't leave until I'd written 1,000 words on that chapter. And so by the end of it, I'd have whatever it was. Must have been more than that. Must have been 3,000 words. And then I just did that every night religiously. So that was my bedtime routine.
Wow.
And so it took me 2 hours to put it to bed, and I come out with 2,000 words. And then
Right
by
on,
the end of
man.
the tour, I had this book which was like 150,000 words or whatever it was. And then I just spent time and edited it back down and just rewrote it when I got home. But all the stuff was there. It was just habit, man. It was just consistency.
Wow.
Just do that number. I
And
couldn't
this-
stop till I'd done the number.
You write it on the laptop? Pen and a pen
Uh,
on a laptop?
Yeah, it was. It was a laptop, yeah.
Wow.
It was actually one of those iPads with
yeah.
a special keyboard.
Yeah, cool.
Didn't have much room in a motorhome.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. 3 kids.
Fun.
as
It was
well.
fun. So,
You just skim over
Yeah,
that.
did-
Like, motorhome, 3 kids, no big deal. Mate, I'm struggling here in the 3-bedroom with 2 little
Well,
ones.
mate, well, we've done it twice now. We're trying to get to a year and do every state in the year, but
Wow.
we've blown out 3 months on each time. And like, you go through some pretty rough times, man. Like parked up in a truck stop with broken down with 3 young kids in the back.
Wow.
Yeah, what are we doing to these kids? But,
Wow.
I've
Very
taken it
brave,
up.
very brave from the parents, I reckon.
Well, mate, we just think one of those things, mate. If you can got the ability to do it, give it a crack and
Yeah.
see how you get on.
That's cool, man. Did you used to write as a player, or is it come on kind of?
Yeah, I did actually.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did all through playing.
Wow.
Just like those short story competitions and things like that. It was always a joy. Yeah, loved it. Somewhere
That's cool.
in Mum's probably got this massive folder somewhere of all my stories. I'd love to go back and read through them actually.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's
Yeah, it's
unique.
good. It's just a little hobby, mate. Yeah.
Nah, awesome. Man, it's awesome what you've been able to achieve, like after your footy, not just coaching, but also with the podcast and the writing, and I was going to ask you, like, you've been coaching in England, you've been coaching in Canada, in Japan, and in New Zealand as well. You must have seen a bunch of players do this kind of pivot or this transition after their playing days are over. Is it different amongst the cultures? Like, are Kiwis different to the Japanese? Are the Japanese different to the Canadians?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually, man. Yeah, well, yeah, they are. There's very different cultures, and certainly the different rugby cultures are different too, right? Like
Mm.
Canada, for example, when players stop, they're not really professional anyway.
Yeah, true.
They get a little bit of money, so they haven't sort of been spoiled by professionalism,
Wow.
where you play 10 years in New Zealand, in a professional league, New Zealand Super Rugby or whatever. You kind of get institutionalized to that's what life
Mm.
is, and then it's a pretty hard reality when it finishes because you've been on
Mm.
great money, you've had this identity as a professional rugby player, which in New Zealand is pretty high status,
Mm.
whether you like it or not, and then you go to nothing. Boom, you
Mm.
go from whatever 200K a year and a bit of fame and status to
Mm.
nothing.
Yeah,
Boom,
brutal.
overnight, and it's quite hard. Whereas in Canada, they're not that at all. They might get $30,000 and they have to eke through life. They're almost like students. They're all working part time,
Mm.
so it's not such a dramatic change. In
Yeah.
fact, in a lot of ways, they now go to a full time job and it's better paid and they're living better. So it's
Wow.
like different. And Japanese, it's different because most of those players work for companies at the same time. So they just transition into
Of
company
course.
life. Most Japanese players have their life pretty much mapped out because of society says if you work for a company, you stay for a company for life. And so if you play for
Wow.
Panasonic or Toyota, when you retire, you just get eased back into the company and you're on the same salary, nothing changes. You
Yeah.
just don't get to run around outside.
Yeah.
So very different, man. I think New Zealand and Australia and probably England as well. If when you play 10 years hard professional, and you're essentially like a consultant, a bit of a missionary, and when that dries up, you've actually got to start again. And a lot of other places you don't. Like Japan, you don't have to start again. You work for the same company, you just do a different role.
Yeah.
New
100%.
Zealand,
That's interesting.
if we're taking the New Zealand example, you have to start again. You
Yeah.
have to start a career. And most rugby players who have played sort of any decent lengths of time probably haven't really seen that reality come.
Mm.
And it's a hit again to the ego, like you've gone from this sort of status, I suppose, to then you've got to start at the bottom of something, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And you've got to be a little bit humble and just take it because that is the reality. You got to be on the back of a milk truck for a while. And
100%.
before,
Man, it might
yeah.
be a theme of this podcast series because I caught up with Dan Kirkpatrick last week. Great player, played for the Hurricanes as well, Blues over in France. And he started a gym after his playing days. And he
Yep.
literally mentioned the same thing, like, you have to be willing to suck again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really hard. You like we all have an ego as a player, and it's tied to what we achieve and what we want to achieve on the field and our confidence as a player and all of that sort of stuff. And then you go from that to whatever the scenario is. For Dan, at the moment he's trying to get into the supermarket game, so he's stacking shelves.
Yeah.
So he's starting again. And it's not easy. Let's put it that way. So I think it's a great message to anyone listening. And you can feel that, there's that great line on Moneyball. We all have to stop playing the children's game one day. Some of us get told when we're 18, but some of us get told when we're 38. But we all get told. So I think it's a great
That's
message.
I think the other little piece to that, mate, is, but to really nail that, I reckon you've got to flip whatever mindset when you're in it to go get excited by the start again,
Yeah.
to get excited by that. Whereas you can get down about it and go, oh man. But the moment you go, hey, I'm going to start again and I'm going to build myself up in this area and get excited by that, then that's when you're away.
Yeah.
But sometimes that just takes a little bit of time to realize that. So the quicker you can sort of get excited and pumped up around that,
Yeah.
you go, yeah, man, I'm going to be on the back of a truck for a while, and then I'm going to buy that truck, and then I'm going to buy that route, and then I'm going to run this milk thing, and then I'm going to, be the milk baron of Wellington,
Dude, I love that.
Mate, I think you just got to you have to flip your mindset. That's the reality, and it's just how quick you can do that.
Mate, not just a rugby coach, mate. You could be a life coach as well. Hey, so just quickly before I let you go, what's your job now? So you're a rugby director at a college. Is there much difference
Yeah,
in
mate.
coaching, or you're coaching coaches these days?
Yeah, it like so we moved to Sydney. We just wanted to move. It was just time to get the kids back to English speaking, so we just moved here, and this job came up, and it was good transition for me because just needed to step out of the pro stuff for a little bit, and it's been really good, man. Like director of rugby is essentially, I have 50 or so coaches that coach our teams here,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I just run the program and try help their journey along and all the kids underneath them,
Yeah.
and just sort of manage a program and manage the parents and the sentiment around the program.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a wonderful school we're at, so it's a joy, man. It's my boy goes to the school, one of my boys, and
Cool.
it's great to be at a place where you can watch your kids do what they enjoy.
Yeah. Cool, man. Mate,
Yeah, man. It's awesome.
Mr. Ben Herring, gentlemen. Dude, I appreciate you your time, man, and definitely some golden nuggets there, eh? For sure.
Thanks, brother. It was really cool, mate. It was cool. It was nice to have a yarn, brother. Really cool.